Welcome to the podcast number 22. My name is Geoffrey Madge, and please, if you like the podcast, please do subscribe and like it. It's all wonderful to see that people appreciate it. This podcast, as I said, is also spontaneous. I like to do these things spontaneously. Because I think we miss a lot of that in our present day life. Everything's so regulated and so on. But anyway, one of the things I've often thought of when listening to people, and this has applied very much also the masterclasses I've been giving recently, that often the body knows things that the mind doesn't. The body teaches the mind sometimes. And we often think that we've got to think of what we want to do, but in fact, the body in many subtle ways can give an indication of how we've got to do something. And I think that applies very much often to piano playing and even to listening. I think that when you hear something, for instance, that you don't like, I think your body reacts even quicker than your mind. I think your body just doesn't feel good. I think you feel as though you've got a headache or getting a headache or something is just not right. And maybe someone's playing too loudly or too fast or not breathing during the playing. It can be all these things, but there are so many possibilities. But still, the body indicates how we find this, how it comes to us, how we actually receive that. It's one of the quickest indications, I think, and a wonderful way of even working and studying, because when we're playing and studying pieces as pianists, you sometimes feel this doesn't feel right. And usually when it doesn't feel right, it usually doesn't sound right either. It's often connected. I think there are so many connections that we don't know anything about. And I think that we've got to really appreciate these and respect them. I think that's very, very important. When I've been giving many masterclasses recently to some incredibly gifted pianists, some of the most amazing pianists that I've been able to teach. And as I've said often, I'm often learning just as much from them as they probably learn from me. In fact, I even think I'm learning more from them than they learn from me. That's the honest opinion I have, but anyway, that's another story. What I do think is that one of the things I've noticed where they're making often, amongst other problems, playing too fast, playing too loudly, and not developing a phrase, not giving this phrase time to breathe. All these things are happening, but also the feeling right. For instance, if I just take this Prelude and Fugue, I've just sort of opened the book, and it comes out on the A flat Prelude and Fugue of Bach, and it begins like this. What a theme. Only 6 notes, but what does it say? I mean, just this. It's amazing. Just something short like that. What I like doing is then sometimes slowing things down so that you really can hear. For instance, okay, the theme is pretty clear. You can actually get that in one listening. But here to hear. Through. These things are dreadfully important in listening. I think, and when we are listening in a hall to some very good pianist, it's difficult to be able to hear these things. We sometimes just don't realize how much is happening in the music. The music is full of little things happening, and sometimes quite big things. For instance, what I don't often hear in this prelude, this fugue, is this note. Now I'm slowing it down, of course, and of course the note doesn't last long enough for us to be able to hear it. But we've got to be able to hear that right through. And here's the fingering of Bach. 1, 1, 1. Get used to doing it. After a while you can do it, but you've got to practice it a bit. And here's something I really find so incredibly important, and we never hear it. And this now, what happens here? What I've noticed in this fugue is one note which is very important. Do you hear it? Here's the theme. There's one note which strikes me. That's this one, that E flat. That's what I hear going right through the piece. Here, for instance. And it's now very important. And he often comes back to that E flat. For instance, you get this. And then it comes down to the F. And then it goes to the E flat. Later, here comes this. Let me just play that for you in tempo. that as a bit of a demonstration, I've been using bark fingering because I'm not using pedal in this performance. Didn't use any pedal at all, and purposely just to make the fingers work and find their own articulation. The articulation comes out of the body in a way. It's not only out of the mind. And I think that's so important in performing Bach. I think Bach was a master of the language of the body, of the not only the ears listening, but the language. He was really a Renaissance figure who had genial ideas and things in all areas. And I'm thinking we've got to let that be heard. If we play it with pedal, we don't have to do that at all. It's so much easier. You just put the pedal down and it works. And it's so easy acoustically. Anyway, there's just a few thoughts that I have about performing this. And so just keep listening. And thanks for listening to this. So I'll just end it now with a very short piece, and then you can go your way.